Hi, Mike Kennedy with you. And first, a shout out to Mike. He's a cool guy because everyone with the name Mike is cool, right? And his girlfriend Gina. My daughter, one of my adult daughters, was at a birthday party and found out that this Mike is a big fan. So thanks for watching my videos. Today we're primarily trying out this. This is a Russian stove that comes in MREs that they have. Now we're doing this 24-hour pack, so we're basically going to be eating one meal. I'll get you some components. Got the stove to heat the meal up with, and here's our main part of the meal. It's 250 grams of goulash with buckwheat, I believe. I'll have to look at that again. I'll correct it in the bottom. All right. Then we have their crackers, which again, you know, there's no bread. It even says, well, use these as bread. These are very sturdy crackers, and as I mentioned in my other videos, these get shipped all the way from Belarus, and there were 4 packages, and in that total of 4 packages, there were only 2 crackers that were cracked. So that's pretty good packing. Then for kind of a desserty item, we have a kind of a jelly thing, some type of jelly. So we're going to put that on the crackers. We have a spoon, and we have a wipe to clean ourselves up with. We have coffee, which I'm not a coffee drinker, so we'll do that later. And my wife is, and she'll try it out. We have this drink mix, so let's do that first. Here we've got about 250, well, I think it's a 240 milliliters of hot or cold water. I guess some people criticize the Russian MREs because they've got a lot of sugar in them. And indeed, there's 3 or 4 packs of sugar. And this is all sugar. And it's like, I don't know what it goes with. You've got a small sugar here. That's the pepper. You got another small sugar that's just the sugar that for your coffee, but there's a lot of extra sugar. So I don't know. I would think if you mix that in with your meal, it would taste kind of odd. But I'm going to try some of it anyway. Try to do that. And again, for the coffee, we've got this odd mixture here of condensed milk, and it's got some chocolate or flavoring in it. Oh, you know, I was looking at this, and I'm looking through it. I've got a contents of what was in it. I've translated it from Google Translate, right? I'll put that on the bottom. But it says water purification tablets, and I'm looking all through it, and I can't find any. And I'm thinking, gee, that would be kind of a disaster, because the idea of stopping and boiling water, you've got that stove, right? That's, you know, that could take the tablets burn for 7 minutes. So that could take you a while. Set that up, do all that, just so you can get a drink of water. But lo and behold, here they are. What's in there? There are actually 3 tablets in here, and each does a liter, so that's 3 liters. It takes like 60 minutes, but the idea again is with this is you got your water, you drop this in, then you're not just going to sit there waiting for the hour. You've got things to do, and you do them, and then an hour passes and you can drink it. There's been some comments about people thinking these aren't super effective, and if they're just, you know, chlorine based, it's got chlorine in it, right? But chlorine doesn't kill some of the other things like cryptosporidium and things like that. Now chlorine dioxide does, because this extra oxygen that's in there is just dying to get onto something, and it actually breaks through the cell walls of things like this cryptosporidium and kills it. So we'll have to see. I'll do a little research about this before we do a video on it. We've got the wet wipes. Did I mention that? Nice little wet wipes. We'll see if these, it'll be interesting to see if these are alcohol-based, because alcohol-based, you may be able to use them to start a fire with. I'll give them a, that's just about everything in that pack. Oh, a piece of gum there, too. All these. There's a little tablet in here that's gum. I mean, you can press it and feel it, but it's really small. Here's the matches. So we get these storm-proof matches and this little itty-bitty striker. So that's going to take some talent to get that thing going with these, I think. But, and two, you know, we're going to be working with metal containers that are going to be hot. So you got to have something to hold it. So I don't know what Russian military people are outfitted with, as far as, I mean, something like a Leatherman, you can cut things, but you know, with the pliers, you can also pick up things that are hot, this and that. So we'll see what it's like. So first the drink. It looks like I put sand in the water. We'll stir it up. Their spoons, they give you 3 spoons, which is good because they're not as rugged as the ones that are in the U.S. MREs. And of course, people like to compare the two things, but they're quite different actually. Different technology. We have this, instead of the retort pouches, we have tins, and well, this is probably cheaper to manufacture. It's more susceptible to physical damage. In other words, one of the things people joke about, the recipe for brownies for the MREs, for US MREs, are 50 pages long. Well, it has all the specs. It's got to be able to be dropped in a pallet from such a height and not completely disintegrate. So, you know, there's all of the stuff, but the packaging and the thing itself has to be sort of dense to withstand that, although you do end up with a lot of MREs that have it broken. Okay, here we go. I don't know any Russia, so I'll say vodka. Let's try it. It's sweet. It's good, but I don't. Maybe it's a sweetened tea or something. I'm not a tea and coffee drinker, but nothing to write home about. But it's good, and you're getting the calories. As you know, your body, especially if you're exerting yourself, your body craves calories, fat, and salt. And usually that's in these drinks. Oh, the drink right there too said, there was a little warning saying, you probably shouldn't feed this to children. It's got a lot of salt in it. So that drink you can think of as kind of a rehydration drink too. That's putting those electrolytes back into your system. Yeah, I think these are the same tablets that you can get in the U.S., although they're usually square. And thing to know about these is some of these tablets, when you burn them, they give off cyanide. So you don't want to be in any closed situation. I wouldn't even, like, say, even a snow shelter or something like that outdoors. Something that's kind of might be considered. Oh wow, does that smell? It smells like fish. I mean, someone said that about these tablets before, and they are right. It really smells like fish. That's interesting. It's got a little keyway here, Wonder if that's where they put in matches at one time. So, how does this work? We bend one side up and one side down. So we'll do this one this way, this one down, this one down, this one down, and this one down. Then we'll do this one up, this one up, and this one up. So, which is up and which is down? According to this is the orientation, and the tablet's going to be in the center of it. Like that. And like I said, you could boil water, but there's a lot of disadvantages to being limited to boiling water to make it safe to drink. And even though that might not protect against all waterborne problems, germs, pathogens, I mean, it's certainly going to get rid of some of them, or most of them, hopefully. And hopefully you're not in a situation where you have to use it with suspect waters, but, you know, they have canteens. I don't know what size of Russian canteen. Maybe someone will chirp in on that. Okay, I've inverted a 5-gallon bucket, and we're going to set it up on there. So here we are. Let's open this and see if we can get these matches to work. Obviously they're sealed pretty well. They definitely don't want moisture getting in here. It's funny how some stormproof and waterproof matches, the striker isn't. So if you get them the box stamp of typical water, you know, proof matches they call them, you can't light them. Oh, it's recyclable plastic film. That's good to know. Oops. There's the striker, 2 sides. It's so small. With my gaumy fingers, am I going to be able to do it without burning myself? Always cut away from yourself. Never cut toward yourself, especially if you're in what they call the deadly triangle, where most of your arteries are and everything. Well, I almost opened it. Okay, there we are. Let's see what we can do here. Wow, that lit really well. And it is actually lit. You probably don't see it on camera, but there's definitely a flame there. So here we are with our goulash. I've been warned by things that oh my goodness. I can certainly smell that, but it's very greasy looking at that. But again, what are we going to be craving in a situation where it's very demanding? We want fat, we want calories, we want salt. So I believe these are all cooked, of course, and all you're doing is warming them up. Take my matches out of there. So, I've got to say, I was impressed by these matches. They worked first time. This is a small enough situation to have them to fit in any type of little kit that you have. Oh, we're getting some steam. Not to do it on a plastic surface. What happened is the legs get so hot of the stove that they cut right through the bottom of the bucket. So, let it go for a while. I could have used the cover, for a windshield too. In other words, the wind's blowing this way. So I put that there. And it's going to ensure more of the heat gets to the meal. You can see the smoke or smoke is, I think what we're seeing is water evaporating there. This definitely isn't the exciting part at all. Now, I would assume they'd cook them in a tin. I don't know if they have, well, they might have a mess kit with a plate and things like that. So you could have taken this out and heated it on a plate, maybe. I don't know. Of course, this doesn't look like any goulash I've seen. And of course, what a goulash is in Russia is not what a goulash is in the United States. At least me, when you say goulash, I think of elbow macaroni with some tomatoes and hamburger or something like that. And this looks more like kind of looks like a greasy meatloaf actually right now. I was going to try to stir it, but I can see that isn't going to work well with that flimsy stove. Now, evidently, some of this meal is actually heavy. The 1 hour, the 24-hour pack is about 4 pounds. So you're carrying 4 pounds for each day. Now, they do have packs that are more dehydrated or freeze-dried. And, of course, those you have to add water and then heat them. So they would definitely be lighter than this. But I don't know what this is the PRI meal, menu 1, 24 hours. I don't know what the other meals would have in them and what constitutes who would get what for meals. I would assume the scouts or people going further away would get the meals that are lighter. And people who aren't going so far away would be doing this. And, of course, I know with the U.S. military, hopefully you're eating, most of your meals in a mess tent. And you're only using these occasionally. The U.S. MRE say right on them that you're not supposed to eat them for 2 weeks straight. That's the maximum you're supposed to eat them for before you go back and get regular, real food. Yeah. You can see the fat is bubbling now. Now I can go back and do a timestamp to see how long this has taken. But I would think, especially if you're cold, you would want the meal to be nice and warm. So you have to decide how hot you want the meal. Maybe other meals would require less heat, and then you could do your hot drink. Let's see how much of that fuel tab is left. Oh, I would say there's about a third of it left. Oops. Let's see if I can, it's certainly softening up now. Here's the first bite going in. Well, let's do it. So here's what it looks like. It's kind of, you can see it's kind of a hamburger type, meatloaf type consistency at least. So the moment of truth. It's good. I believe there's pork in it. I could be wrong. Maybe a little carrot there. Not bad. I would think if you were hungry, this would be very welcomed. I kind of looked for trying to find something about how satisfied Russian soldiers were with these. And I get the impression they didn't think there was enough menu choices. Now, these meals, shipped halfway around the world, were fine. They're no problem. But I've read that these MREs can get to soldiers, and because of this tin system, if a tin's been crimped or bumped enough to break the seal, the food inside is, can't be eaten. But these were sealed well, and taste good. Almost like a bacon taste. That's a good sized portion too, I think. Now, let's go to our jelly type spread. Now, of course, You could eat this as it is, I suppose. Let's try that first. Or put it on the crackers. That's good. I think it's kind of a mixed berry type thing, but it tastes very good. Let's try it on a cracker. These crackers are interesting. They're very firm, very strong. They don't have a ton of salt on them. So that can be a kind of a surprise if you're thinking that you're thinking like, well, is it like a saltine? No, it's not like a saltine. Now, there may be salt in it, but not on top of it anyway. So, on a cracker. I gotta find out what this is. So, that was a good meal, I'd say. The goulash was good. The jelly was good. The crackers are good. The drink is good, especially once you understand that it's it's kind of a thing to hydrate you. And like I say, I'm not quite sure what it tastes like, but it isn't. Sometimes the U.S. MRE drinks sometimes just tastes like the cheapest powdered drink you could possibly buy. You can see it didn't all dissolve. But very good. Thanks for watching.